Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Stalktober special event of the Heart of the Jakuls. As always, I'm your learned host Lothran, and we're nearing the last few shovelfuls of sod, so let's get back to work. Go grab that snack running through your mind. Take the best spot there is. Get all nice and comfy to listen carefully and close to grasp. Ito looked down at his white, blood-covered hands. Well, his hands were white, the blood was black. But that was all normal. The other Ito he had just been, gripping his gun that he'd just been aiming over the battlefield. Ito needed a breath. It was like this sometimes. An explosion shattered the trickling moments of peace and quiet between violent eruptions. He found himself fighting himself, another Ito. He was fighting from both perspectives, wrestling for the gun in his hands, trying to secure a decent shot to kill himself as both hymns desperately attempted to gain the upper hand. Another explosion hit the bunker, sending both of them flying, shrapnel killing one instantly. Ito stood, huffing, exhausted, feeling the adrenaline still rich in his veins, looking down at the two other Itos, both dead. He wound his fingers around the pistol and stepped back into the corridor. Spotting another figure, he raised his gun and took aim. Ito turned to meet his gaze. "No, wait!" he yelled a second before his dark gray brain matter struck the wall behind him. Ito stepped over his own corpse into the bright, gleaming daylight. "Back to the trenches, boys! You want to live forever!" Ito, looking sort of dapper, shouted the order to himself and a bunch of other Itos, all quaking in their boots and holding their rifles. Ito took aim, leveling the pistol at his foes, splattering another 3 servings of brains before an Ito knocked the gun from his hands. Ito kicked out Ito's legs, shouting a wordless curse as he lunged with his long arms at his foe Ito. Ito felt Ito's light of his life slip from his eye, ceasing to leak its continuous stream of dark fluid before Ito died in his arms. Ito fell back, his hands shaking, knowing what he'd done. He scrambled back to his best friend. "No, Ito! No! Ito! Don't die on me! You have an Ito and 2 little Itos! You gotta live! You have to live!" Ito lowered his rifle, the end pouring hateful smoke as the last Ito in the bunker fell. "If you find any survivors, put those dirty fucking Itos to the sword!" Ito clambered over the earthen fortifications. "You! Ito! Report! Ito, sir! An Ito from HQ says we've captured 2 more of the firing positions. Locations Ito and Ito. We're supposed to move up the hill to Ito and kill any resistance we find there. Air support will be dropping hordes of Itos the moment we take those guns." "Good! Get me Ito, Ito, and Ito! We're going to move first to position Ito. Check ammo, load up on any grannies these assholes have. Also look for explosives. Ito was hit with a round and we'll need spares if we're to take both positions and scuttle them. Hurry up, boys! Rest and relaxation won't last too long." Just as Ito said that, a sniper ruptured the throat of Ito standing next to him. "Sniper, heads down, Itos!" Ito pulled the spent cartridge from the chamber, whispering a prayer to Ito as he chambered another round, sighting the next target, checking the wind, angling the shot, pulling the trigger with glee. Ito woke up in a flurry of flailing limbs, scrambling backward away from the girl, touching him in his sleep. He fled with intense speed, balling up in the corner and muttering to himself for a long time as he slowly pulled his blanket up over his naked form. "What did you... Never touch me while I'm asleep." Ito managed to mutter between dread-filled gasps of rushing air into his terror-gripped lungs. Never again!" What of?" Verita began, not sure what to say. Who knew how much that she saw or experienced? I'm sorry, No. Ito shook his head in her direction. "No." He shivered under his blanket, not sure what to think or say. "Ito, you really fight yourself in your sleep?" She paused for a moment, her voice taking on a deep tone of pain. Always? I was stabbing myself, but I was the me being stabbed, and the one doing this. How do you do that? Ito could barely believe his ears. You weren't me? He asked incredulously. No? She sat on the bed looking more than a little stricken with guilt and remorse. People have been you in the past? Tears fell from both her eyes. My parents, my grandfather, not my grandmother. She's well. You know, so it doesn't affect her. But anyone that touched me while I was sleeping. You were really you? For how long? Ito eased up from being completely wedged into the corner of his small room. It's okay, Ito. She tried to smooth over the situation, but at his insistence, answered his questions. I was me? For a day or so? Sword fighting with 1,000 Veritas? It was horrendous. How do you... She began, but didn't know where or how to finish her thought. I don't know. I just live with it, okay? Ito kept his answers short, even as he began to calm down considerably. How, though? Please tell me. This feeling. This is terrible. I want to help you. Why are you even here? Ito asked of her. Someone got sick? It's very serious. No one knows what to do. I figured since you know pretty much everything. Nothing I can do. Ito moved back towards his pillow as if to go back to sleep. Ito, don't be like that. I didn't mean for any of this to be... this way. I don't mean anything by it. Medical stuff doesn't stick in my head. Everyone has a weakness. Now you can finally win the bet everyone has as to why I always fail medical exams. I'm permanently bad at it. I can't force the stuff into my mind. I can remember word for word all the stories about sickness and death, but I can't ever think of the right solution when I'm there at the exam. Not ever. Now, if you wouldn't mind, contrary to what most of you believe, I don't rest by eating books and laying my head against the ceiling and floating while I sleep. Can you at least listen to what's wrong and direct us to the right tome of the heart stories? Barata begged of him, wringing her hands in his blanket. Ito looked at her. The desperation in her features, the worry upon her face, the tears that had obviously been running down her cheeks even before she had made the terrible mistake to touch him while he slept. It wasn't as bad this time. What? Verita asked, unsure of what he meant. If I can help you, and your sister lives, there's a cost. I was only in there for a few thousand years, much less than normal. If what I give you saves your sister, then you owe me. A touch a night, as long as either of us is a student in Corundum. Vera took a long while to come to a conclusion. I thought you were her friend. Your sister talks at me while I read. Nothing more, nothing less. She acts tough, but her plan is to latch on to me to make the girls that used to bully her too afraid to ever do so again. She wouldn't... Barata would never... Ito twisted to extract a journal from the drawer, shoving it into the elder sister's hands. This is her handwriting. How did you steal this from her? No, I made her write a copy after I touched her journal by accident. I'd actually thought her to be my friend, my first and only up to that moment. Oddly to Ito, Verita looked even more hurt on several levels, as she realized the truth of the matter. You can go if you don't want. Verita spoke up. Deal, but after she wakes up, you don't hang out with her anymore. Every day when you'd be in the library for your free time, you come to me instead, and we talk until nighttime. I'll sit with you till you fall asleep, and then I'll touch your face just like before. You touched my face? Seriously? And your reaction wasn't all that bad? My mother couldn't even look at me for an entire month afterward, and she touched my hand. Do we have a deal? Verita asked. How bad was it? The touch? worst thing, and in some way it's addictive. It's horrible and dreadful and brutal. A war that never ends. But it's pure. Pure like nothing else. Verita nodded, unable to voice the reply she felt in her heart. Deal. Ito shed his blankets, reaching for his clothes with his long arms. Tell me what the symptoms are like, but make a story out of it. And so it is. Our time together has once more come to a close. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I have. As always, I've been your host, Lothran, and this was Grasp. Another tale right from the heart of the Jakuls. Go ahead, young Korvoth. Guide them along the proper path.
A pleasant hello and a fond farewell to each and all. Please leave your comments, questions, and kindnesses down below. None of that horrid, mean, or rude stuff, though. You keep that to yourself. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to help us learn, spread, and grow. We strongly encourage each and every one of you to do everything in your utmost power to stay safe out there. Good night and good luck. You'll need it. Goodbye. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.